op that is owned by Cisco or IBM or something?
I think I was trying to keep it free with this one. Obviously, that didn't wind up working out, but yeah, I think that's why.
So yes, yeah. So anyway, well, welcome to lecture 2, of which I am calling this the battle in China for who would own and control the internet. This is going to be a very different talk than yesterday. Yesterday, I gave a very broad talk. I talked about a lot of things, right? You know, this time, I'm actually going to try and get focused on some details. And it's not because I want to bore you with the details of how Chinese government works. It's just that the way the Chinese government works is complex. There are many different government organizations. And let me ask you a question, Justin. Is the Chinese Communist Party part of the Chinese government?
Yeah. They make up the government, don't they?
Professor Chang, would you please explain to Justin what the role of what is the relationship? Is the Chinese Communist Party part of the Chinese government?
It's the Central Party.
The Central Party is the Central Party part of the State Council.
Yeah. Controlling party.
Controlling party, but not controlled by the state. The State Council does not control the Chinese Communist Party, does it?
Play a critical role in the government.
In the government. But the government, it is not the government. It is separate from the government.
Part of the government. Critical part.
Critical part.
Yeah.
I was always trained that it was a separate part.
Separate.
Part of the government. Separate from the government. It controlled the government, but was not the government. And it's complex. Let me ask one more question, Justin. Is the army part of the government?
I would assume so. That sounds like a trick question.
Professor Chang, is the PLA part of the State Council?
No.
Not at all, no. It's controlled by PLA, by the party. The Central Party controls PLA, not State Council.
Leadership belongs
to the party.
But in some way it's controlled by the government because the government is controlled by the party.
Professor Chang, is it all right to ask if you are a member of the party?
What?
Can I ask if you are a member of the CCP, the Communist Party?
Yeah.
Is it appropriate to ask or not to ask? Is it okay to ask you? Now, to be an academic at a university, you have to. Not all that. That's not true either. Huh? I have friends at Chinese Academy of Science who are professors, but not part of the party. Did not join the party.
Yeah. Many professors are not members of the party. Some are religious.
Religious person.
Yeah.
Religious person cannot be in party?
No.
No. Oh, okay. No Buddhists can go be in the party.
Nowadays it is very complex.
Okay.
Because some are potential.
Now, if you get a PhD from American University, can you be in the party? If you get a PhD from Harvard and go back to China, can you be in the party?
It is not a problem.
Not a problem. 2 years ago, not a problem. 5 years ago, a problem. Now some of the leaders in the party have PhDs from America.
It is not. It is now. I think. You have some training program.
Training program. So they take the indoctrination of America and they break the indoctrination. They take the brainwashing of America.
I don't say we as China and the U.S. Have a good cooperation. Training for our office.
Okay. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to introduce you to a couple organizations that do not even exist anymore. But back in the 1980s and 90s, had, I think, 5 million people work for Ministry of Post and Telecommunications. They did all the post office, all the telephone, all the data communications, all controlled by one gigantic ministry called MPT, Ministry of Post and Telecommunications. And so these people thought, since we control telephones and we control data communications, we should have monopoly over the internet. We're the only ones who should be able to do the internet in China. This is what they said. And this is what they said in the 1990s. In fact, in between 1990 and 1995, they said no internet, only X.25. Justin, have you ever heard of the X.25 protocol? Yesterday. Yeah, it was in America. We had a monopoly called AT&T. You ever heard of AT&T, Professor Chen? You study America, yeah. Yeah, they wanted to control telecommunications, the internet in America. Their own monopoly, right? You understand the word monopoly, right? Yeah. So in America, we had monopoly. They said they did not want internet. They wanted X.25. They were going to provide a data network worldwide with X.25. China spent billions of dollars between 1990 and 95 to build an X.25 network throughout all of China, owned by MPT. Okay? What's that?
I know now.
Now you know now. Okay, but have you heard of this ministry? Ministry of Electronic Industries. What is this? What was this ministry? You heard of this ministry before? Now it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
What's it in Chinese? Have you heard of this ministry, Emma? Very powerful. All the electronics, computers, and industries were owned by this ministry. And very politically powerful ministry. In fact, the premier of China, before he was premier, right, he was the head of Ministry of Electronic Industries. So if you wanted to be the most powerful person in China, you first took control of this ministry. This ministry said, okay, so yesterday I used the term informatization, right? That basically China was going to take information technology and jump ahead of America. And these were the people who thought they were going to do it. And so they tried to put computers in customs, in tax, in everything. They were trying to build systems where the central government would control everything in the society through computers. And they actually, so this is an interesting thing, in 1995, they started an internet service called Jitong, okay, or also called Golden Bridge Network. What's Golden Bridge Network? What is the Chinese word? Yeah, okay. So, did you have internet in 1995? No. But if you wanted internet, it's funny. People who wanted internet in 1995, the better internet, which was better, to get it from Ministry of Electronics Industry called Golden Bridge Network, or China Telecom from the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications? You had two choices. Which was better?
Golden Bridge online mean that it is for,
It started out being a competitive service of Ministry of Electronics Industries to compete with China Telecom. So anyway, the funny thing was, if you wanted to get to America fast, better to use Jitong. But if you wanted to get to the government, Chinese government, you have to use China Telecom. So people had two internet services. And you could not go from one to the other. You could not dial into a network of Jitong and get to China Telecom. Can you believe that? The only way to go was through the United States. So basically, these people said they owned the internet, and they had the premier of the country was their ally, and the China Telecom people said. So in '95 there was political battle in the CCP between the MEI and the MPT. Have you heard of this or not?
The English name I'm not so familiar.
Okay. Ministry of Post and I'm sorry. The Ministry of Post and Telecommunications and Ministry of Electronics Industry had very big political fight in the Chinese Communist Party over who controlled the internet. Okay. So I'm sorry to get too loud, Denise, but I get excited about this because this was when I was asked by the U.S. government to go to China to figure out what was going on. I speak no Chinese. I've never been to China. And this is what 1996 January is when I left Washington, D.C. to go to the University of Arizona. I went to think I was going to study Nigeria, Africa, and the internet. I said I wanted to study it. I went to study internet Africa. 1 month later, they sent me to China. I know. Gotta watch PhD programs, Justin. You don't always get to do what you want. What's that?
PhD discussion can change your life.
It can change, but it can be a horrible experience too, right? Do you think Emma should get PhD?
You always do.
You want to? What's that?
Connected with your dissertation.
You always get to your dissertation. Yeah. It's hard to get out of it. I'm still talking about my dissertation now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the thing that most people, when I ask in China, what is Ministry of State Security? They have no idea. What is the Chinese word for Ministry of State Security? Maybe I always don't use the right word. For Ministry of, what is the word in Chinese for Ministry of State Security? 国走.
Direct translation is 国家安全.
No, but how do people know this? If you were talking to your husband about this ministry, what words would you use in Chinese?
My husband is professor of politics. He knows that many people.
Why?
It is not so important for some people. Not play a critical role in the
What's that?
on the surface. On the surface.
Yeah. Can I pull up a browser on this thing, Justin? Hey, can you come over and just help me for a second, Paul? Just escape. Okay. Why don't you come up and help me if you don't mind? There are, in fact, in America, hardly any books, any journal articles even written about it. You know that? Hardly any. Only one book in English. Okay, look at do an Amazon search for Mao's Secret Army. It's not even in Amazon, the book. I don't think it's in our library either. What is it?
I don't think these are
No,
the.
that's the Nazi army. Okay, why don't you do a search of the Emory Library to see if it has maps this book? What's that? A Google search? No. Let's one thing at a time. If it's in the Emory Library, I will go get it after lunch, okay? And then it's cheap. I don't have to pay if it's in the library. I don't have to buy it.
Your this word, added name?
What's that? No.
They don't have it.
Okay. Why don't you Google search? Go Emma says it's on Google.
Why do you not use that word, use this word?
Because this, I know someone showed me when I was in China, they said, nope. Somebody in China showed me this book on the internet, in something.
It's the name.
There's no, Google has nothing.
It's the name?
This is the name. I saw a book. It said Mao's Secret Army. They showed me on the internet when I was in China in December. Remember, I was in December, right? I visited your university. It was at a different university, Beijing Cultural Language Institute.
Difficult book next to Secret Army book.
In English?
It's in English. It's about Ministry of State Security.
Now secret famine, but
There are a lot of secret things about myself. Yeah. So Emma, I don't think my wife Denise who explain who Chairman Mao is. Chairman Mao. What's it? Explain. My wife Denise maybe hasn't been to China. Explain who Chairman Mao is. First president? Was he president? He was president and chairman of the party and chairman of the PLA. And chairman of president, general of the army, right, general? Yeah. So, and he had a secret army. He had the PLA, one army, and he had a secret army. That army, Ministry of State Security. The main job of the Ministry of State Security is to protect the nation from enemies, like America. It's very different. There's another thing in China called Ministry of Public Security, which is mainly at each city there is a police force. That is, so the police are mainly Ministry of Public Security. There's a big difference between Ministry of State Security and Ministry of Public Security, or Bureau of Public Security. Very different. Although the Ministry of Public Security works for the Ministry of State Security, right? It's because actually there is no ministry, it's actually Bureau of Public Security. The police do not have they're not minister, they're bureau. So, so the CCP, so you had, so on one hand, you had the people in the Ministry of Electronics industry believing that their jitong could make them fabulously rich. The people in the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications, they were responsible for giving jobs to 5 million people, especially through the post office and telephone. Their big concern was the prices of posts is going down. So how are we going to keep 5 million people with jobs? So for them, the internet was the way to keep 5 million people employed. Okay, you understand? So for China Telecom, the most important thing was keep our 5 million jobs. Ministry of Electronics industry, we need to get rich. Ministry of State Security, this could destroy the country. The Ministry of State Security, look what happened. What happened to Russia, Justin? What happened to why did this immense the the Soviet Union, why did it just like, disintegrate?
Well, it's got, so by the time the USSR was towards the end, it was pretty much run by the mafia.
Okay.
I don't think that they were very centrally organized anymore.
Well, and I mean, that was that, you know, but when the Soviet Union, Gorbachev, you know, but basically the things have become more democratic, and then all of a sudden there was this revolution. The army tried to take the country back from the people, and what happened? Everybody was faxing things, calling people. Everybody in the world was watching, and the army fell apart. And the people, and Yeltsin, they stood at the square waving flags, and the army fell apart. So people in the Communist Party, they're saying, internet. How are we going to prevent the Chinese people from having another Tiananmen Square and the PLA falling apart? And is the internet going to cause the PLA to fall apart? So this is the big concern in the Ministry of State Security and the CCP. And yet, on the other hand, they're saying, if China does not connect to the internet, they cannot be a world economic power. There's no way to have China compete in world economy without internet. So it's a hard balance, right? This is the thing you need to understand. So everybody wanted them to make money. Everyone's scared of what might happen. So nobody knew what would happen. And so the Communist Party had not made the decision to allow internet, and yet the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications, China Telecom, they went to Cisco and had Cisco build a nationwide network of internet for China Telecom in 1995 without Communist Party approval. Was that right? It's a very tough decision, you know. So could this decision be made in was this solved in National People's Congress? What is National People's Congress, Professor Cheng? Explain what National People's Congress is to Justin. Justin, you know what National People's Congress is? Say it in Chinese, yeah. Could this decision about what to do with the internet be made there in National People's Congress?
Usually the party, first the party make a decision, and then make a suggestion to the Congress and rule. It is a rule.
Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So basically, what they did, okay, do you know this man? Vice Premier Jiahao? No, you know him. Have you heard of him? Yeah, so he's a very high-level person. Second to the president. He was told to solve the problem. Put together a committee. Solve the problem. Okay? And the second most powerful person in China was given the responsibility of coming to a decision about internet. Is this right? In internet field, yeah. Yeah, although they did not call it internet, they said it National Information Infrastructure Security, a steering committee. So what they're looking for is what is going to be the national policy towards information technology. Okay? The internet, now see what is funny is at this time, this is 1996. How old were you in 1996, Justin? 4. Okay, you probably were aware. How about you, Denise?
36.
So Denise, Justin, at 4, did you know the world was going crazy about the internet?
Yeah.
What's that?
We had internet around then. We got one of those like 32 kilobyte modems. So yeah, I did.
Yeah, you knew it. Did you know the whole world was into this at work?
Well, at that moment, my whole world was, so yeah, the whole world.
The funny thing was, say 1994, nobody knew about internet. 1996, everyone in the whole world knew about internet. Extraordinary thing. Like in 1996, did you know about internet? Yeah, because people were talking about it. It was on radio, TV, even though no one had seen it, but everyone had heard about it. So it's a funny thing. So basically, there was no. So basically, when the CCP doesn't know to make a decision, but it's a government decision, it was really not a CCP decision; it was a government decision. So they pulled together a leading group of both government, CCP, and PLA, and Ministry of State Security, to decide what to do. Does that make sense? Am I going, Denise, are you following it, sir? Yeah, okay. Because this is, yeah, so first I want to explain to you the decision that was made. What should we choose, Justin? Should we first focus on the people who were chosen to make the decision and then look what the decision that was made, or should we look at the decision that was made and then look at who made the decision?
What's your next slide?
The bottom line is, I think that the exercise of looking at this, I did not make a slide of the people who were the decision makers, but you have that slide somewhere.
Well,
But why don't you come in and why don't you show to us what, now Justin does not know a lot about China, right? Have you even taken a course about China? No.
I do not think
So now we're going to take a guy, no training in China ever, and he is going to show you that in a couple minutes he can understand the nature of decision making in China, in the Communist Party, reading Chinese websites called Baidu, right? So why don't you show us what you can find about the decision makers?
Trying to screen share thing.
It's not working?
I just don't know where the button is. Hang on. No.
Hey, you were doing this since you were 4. Come on.
See.
Denise will come through this in a second if you don't.
Nope. All right.
I
did this.
Emma's very smart. Emma, how do we get a browser?
Aha, here we go. Here we go. Share full screen. Okay. All right. Here's Baidu.
Okay, Baidu is like Wikipedia, but it's in Chinese, and it's hosted in China.
I thought it was like Google. Is it more
No, more like Wikipedia, right?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't.
No, but it has a lot of information about people, bios, information about companies.
Yeah.
Google does not have that, so it's like Wikipedia and Google.
Well, which of these names should we go with?
Well, that's an interesting thing. I mean, we could look at each one of them. That might be boring, might be interesting. Do you know who's the most powerful person there?
I do not.
I think, well, Jiang Zemin was the premier. Let's start with him. He was actually not. Jiang Zemin was not on the leading group. But he was watching every second. It's much easier if you're powerful to have some other, you're outside of it, but you're controlling it.
This guy.
Yeah, watch it. That is the premier. That's the most powerful man in China at the time.
Yeah.
Did you see what I just did, Denise? Hit the translate button.
Oh, cool.
Watch you do it again. It's fun, right? Okay, so basically, Google Chrome is immediately translated a Chinese webpage in English. Have you ever seen this done, Chen? Dr. Chen? Have you ever seen books reading Beidou in English?
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just point out, he's General Secretary of the Communist Party, which means head of the Communist Party. He's chairman of the People's Republic of China, that's the government. He's chairman of the military, and he is not only, he is actually leading he is providing the ideas, the vision. He's providing the vision, and here is his vision of the three represents. What does the three represent, Dr. J? What's that?
I'm teaching this class.
You're teaching this class. Okay. Justin and I have never been taught the three represents. Do you know what the three represents are, Justin?
No.
What are the three represents?
First, they represent the direction of the moving force. Three is represent
It's in there. It's in the bio. We go back. Yeah, it says here. The three represents the activities of the party and country, all the theory, practical, including the fundamental direction of the work and the fundamental norms, fundamental basis for guidance of the party, and effectively become the new century, the great march of action guide.
The third one is the fundamental interest of people.
Of the people. That's right. That the CCP should be aligned with the people, right?
First is material basis, financial. Second is the culture change. We should represent the most advanced change of the cultural development. Third, it is the basically we should represent the basic interest of most people.
That's right. So it's a very inclusive, China becoming a great nation, right? China is going to be a great nation that is materially successful and enriches the people and is culturally transformative.
The most important is that the party is not it is the party of government, China government, not only a party to CCP members. It is
because many people were afraid. CCP people were only looking out for themselves, right? They used CCP to enrich themselves. That was the scare.
And this is led from the mistakes we have made through before the opening side for the thing.
Okay, let's go back to the list of the leading group. He wasn't on the leading group, but he's no. So is this in alphabetical order?
Yeah.
So it's not order of power, it's of alphabetic. It's only alphabetical, right?
No, it's not.
It's in random order.
It's the way the list is. Okay, so this is actually a list that came from, and I happen to get, I'm the only person who has this list, because everyone else has forgotten about it, but I got this email that had an announcement about the leading group in 1996. I picked it up in February, and being a good PhD, I collected all the information I got, put it in a book, and there was my list. And this is where the list came from. So let's go to the next person. How do you say name? So here, he looks very Western, doesn't he? Does he look like a Westerner? Okay. So, listen. He's a fool, yeah. He looks like a fool. He is from Shaanxi. What province is explain to me where Shaanxi province is. Shaanxi. Oh no, Shaanxi you heard before. This is very confusing where he's from. He went to Beijing University. He went to, which is in Beijing. Xi, where is that? Shanxi. Where's Shanxi? I've never been there.
Shanxi is in the western north of China.
Western North, yeah. I've never been there, but the thing you need to understand is he is an engineer. He was trained to be an engineer. He was not only a politician, he was an engineer. So, so basically he was not with any of the government. He was CCP, right? He was with you ever heard of this? Oh, now we don't. What is Song Qing Foundation now? That's what he's doing now. Can you look that up? Yeah. Okay. Click on source of funds. 7.
Donors, state finance and funding.
Do you have a number of how much money they have? Anyway. Funds use. Let's see if funds use. No. It's very interesting. China is putting a lot of information about individual organizations all up on the internet now, right? Are you amazed they put this up? For everyone in America to see about the special, little, foundations associated with CCP?
We need more foundation.
You need more, but you also need more transparency, right? This is transparency.
Yeah, it is transparency.
Is it a good thing or bad thing?
It is good. Now we need more.
You need more transparency. So I don't see here.
NGO.
This is an NGO, but it's an NGO controlled by CCP.
Maybe.
Anyway, so let's just go back. But all we want to show is here is an engineer who was a leader of the Communist Party who went on to now run a foundation. A foundation tied, it's an NGO tied to the Communist Party, right? Okay, let's go back next person.
You got 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot. This is all. Yeah. This is all we're doing today.
No, it's not belong to the PDP.
It doesn't.
No, and do not belong to the PDP. It belongs to the government.
Or the state council? You mean the state council or Shanghai government?
She is not PDP member. Don't.
She's not. What is she like? Separate?
She's the wife of Sun Yat-sen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Sun Yat-sen was before the. Yeah.
I don't know. She is not.
You. But she's dead now, right? She's dead. She's dead. Yeah. So okay. Let's go to Zhao Xiang. Okay, this is the man we already discussed. Is there? Okay. He's from Shanghai. He is also an engineer. Let's just look at his curriculum vitae. Oh, it is here. Okay. So anyway, this is a guy who has worked his way up from the very bottom, and basically became the minister of the electronics industry, and keep going down. And now, so here, he's on the leading group, and yeah, so this was about the end of his career. this was his number one achievement in the world, was the informatization of the EU. He should be famous for this. Okay, let's go to the next one. But here is an interesting question. Do you think they would have been as successful? Professor Chen, do you think China would have had a successful internet policy if it had not been for this man?
Because we made the critical contribution.
Critical contribution, okay. Next person. It's a very powerful man. This guy came from remember I said the telephone and post, the Ministry of Post was very powerful. So this was the guy that was controlling 10 million people. 10 million people had jobs because of this man. And he was looking for them, and he had actually come up as a math teacher in the telecom university. And so basically he looks like a bureaucrat. And I think the key thing to see is that the deal basically, he got the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications got China Telecom. 2 years later, they merged MEI and MPT together, the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications together, and who did they put as chairman? This guy. He became, he could everything. The people who hated each other, he had all of them. So basically, but there was a big fight. He had everybody, and he said he should have a monopoly over all internet in China. And there was another man, Premier Zhu Rongji, who said, no, there needs to be competition. And he said, even though we have made you head of the Ministry of Information Industries, you must allow competition. And so what happened was that this, how do you say his name? I always how do you say Minister Wu, right? No. And Minister Wu became the most powerful person in the government, but he had to have competition. And that is because the most powerful person in 1998 was Premier Zhu Rongji. You agree? He's the most powerful person in China. He basically forced China to have competition, no monopoly. It's communism with competition. Go ahead. Next one. Translate it, please. So, yes. Okay, he is an economist. His job is to plan the whole economy, organize the whole economy. So he was trying to figure out how to have the best organization of the economy. Next one. Where is Anhui is the province, right? ANHUI is the province? Anhui province. That is where?
It is middle and
yeah. So he was another engineer. One more, they put another very powerful communist person who was also engineer on the committee. Next one. Who had come from, he came from Tsinghua, the most powerful engineering university in China. Okay. Now this man came from Shaoxing, that's also north, right? Shaoxing? Oh no, this one, let's see this. Okay. Okay. Apricot.
I'm sure that's something else.
Is that a mistake? Is that an operating system? What is that, Justin?
Whatever this is.
Anyway, let's go back. This man I don't know. So he's a defense guy, right? Military. Did he control the? He's in the PLA or state security?
Senior engineer.
Okay. So this is the thing. So he's worked for many commissions, but he's defense. The question is he PLA or Ministry of State Security?
State Bureau of Technical Supervision.
Anyway, it's hard. Anyway, I don't know. Next one.
Okay.
One of the things is people in the Communist Party, they move to many different positions, different kinds, maybe governor, banking, defense. The most important that are loyal to the CCP, right? Most are engineers, yes. Right, they're much, they can do math. So, now a woman, this is the only woman on the committee. You know her? Tell me about it. What do you know about her? She's a chemist. I think she has PhD. Yeah. She went to the Soviet Union. Many Chinese in the 60s and 70s who wanted PhD went to China. To Russia. So she had gone to Russia, became a chemist. Yeah, so she is a science and technology person. Yeah, so she's representing the Ministry of Science and Technology. It's not a very powerful ministry, but it's sort of important. The next one. Okay. So now this guy, he looks like a scientist. Yeah. So is he your friend? Is he your relative? Pronunciation relative. Okay, now this is interesting. He is known as the most modern financial concept banker. He's a banking genius, right? And he is a very powerful CCP. He went to Tsinghua. He was a professor at Tsinghua, a professor at Renmin University, another powerful university, Shanghai. He went to many universities. I don't know why he goes to many universities.
What he needed done.
Needed him. Okay. Okay. So anyway, okay. So let's go to the next one. Have you heard of this man?
You have that.
What's that?
You have that something. Yeah.
Now this one. Okay, another great electric engineer. He looks like a genius. He went to America. He got his PhD from America. He worked at Hewlett Packard. He went to Shanghai. Yeah, so it doesn't say he's in CCP. Because I think back then, back in the 80s, you could not be from American PhD and be CCP. But anyway, yes, that's right. He's the son of the premier. That's right. He's the son of the premier. He was an investment banker in Shanghai. A very powerful person. But they did not allow him in Chinese Academy of Science. They rejected him. You know that 4 years ago, I heard that he applied to be a member of Chinese Academy of Science and said, "You are not a real scientist." Anyway, so back. And then this is the most powerful man in my mind. The man who has had the biggest impact of China, biggest impact on internet in China. The reason China has been successful is permission. Zhu. Have you met him? Did you meet him personally?
No.
So anyway, so he is another master's in He's a mechanical engineer who insisted that even though only the government can control the internet in China, there must be competition between different parts of the Chinese government for control of the internet. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? For competition, but government control.
Yeah.
Most people think if government control, monopoly. That's what, Minister Chu, Minister Wu, he says we must have a strong telecom company. We must compete against America AT&T, so we must have a monopoly. And do you know what he says? No, we'll have WTO, World Trade Organization, and we'll have World Trade Organization, and we will have competition between the governments. Okay?
10 minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to wear your octaves. I have octaves now. Did you learn anything? Should we say that you get a free credit course in Chinese politics?
Totally.
Just for this is that totally right? Mm-hmm. No. I mean, I don't. I doubt anybody at Emory has taught this good a course in political history as we had in the past 30 minutes. So yeah. So basically, to summarize, what did the group of these people select? They said that the former telecom monopoly could have an internet service called China Telecom. The Ministry of Electronic Industry could have Jitong. And no other ministry could have a commercial network. The People's Liberation Army had put millions and millions of miles of fiber optic cable throughout China to have so that they could be sell internet service. And they said, no, PLA cannot sell any internet service. So they wasted millions of miles of fiber. Who did they give it to? They had to give it to CERNET. CERNET was the Ministry of Education network. So basically, millions of miles of fiber put by the PLA were given to the Ministry of Education, and Tsinghua University in 3 months hooked 700 universities up to the internet at gigabyte, at very, very fast speeds. They actually had, by 1996, almost all the universities in China were connected by fiber optics. So, but were they given control of the Chinese Academy of Science said, we put the internet into China in 1980, we cannot be controlled by the Ministry of Education, we're the Chinese Academy of Science. So they got their own network. So CASNet was, right here is the Chinese Academy of Science, the research networks, and this is the universities. And they're separate. Each got to have its own. And when you needed a domain name, explain what a domain name is, Justin.
It's the name for typing.
Yeah, where did you get it from?
Well, so you have to go through an internet registrar.
And where in China is the internet registrar?
I imagine it's with
Which one? Which of the four? Who's going to get it? Whoever gets it sort of controls everybody, right?
Yeah.
Who has, Professor Cheng, who has the internet, who owns the internet registry in China?
I don't know.
Anyway, CASNet, the Chinese Academy of Science, they got it first, back in 1992 they had it, in 1992 they had it, and they still have it. It's still owned by Chinese Academy of Science. Okay? And PLA could have a network for the Army only. It could not do anything else with any of the other networks. Even though they had put millions of PLA people, Army people, digging holes to put the fiber optic throughout China. But they lost it all. But, what happened? Every student in China since 1995 has had incredible access to the West through their universities. They go to the university for a small fee. They can get onto the Emory website and learn about Emory. Did you go to the Emory website before you came here? Did you learn a lot? How many universities did you look at when you were 30. And how many hours did you spend on each one?
Couple of minutes.
How many did you spend on the Emory website?
It's easy to
Easy to navigate. Why did you choose Emory? What's that? But did you see that on the internet? Could you tell on the internet it was a great school? Yeah. You can. So you looked at the rankings of the business schools. Did you mainly look at the ranking of the business school or of the Emory College? There is no bad ranking. Is there a ranking of the Emory College?
Yeah.
There is, okay. How's it ranked?
It's normally about 20.
But this is business school 6, right?
The undergraduate program is in the top 10 normally around 5.
And what before your mom came? I'm sorry, don't answer that question. That's unfair.
Next is on the bottom.
What's that next? Okay, thanks. Anyway, a really good article about this was published in the Communications of the ACM by me and Alex. Now you may ask, how did this American student who had never been to China, didn't speak Chinese, learn all these things and write a dissertation? It's because there was a professor who had come from Tsinghua and gotten a PhD in America and was trying to get tenure in America. So I was trying to get my PhD and he was trying to get tenure. So together we wrote the articles to explain what was going on. Now he's a tenured professor at Syracuse, a well-respected friend, and his son is at Princeton. It worked out well for him to help me to understand, and I think it probably worked, and it worked out well for me to help him. So anyway, so this has basically been our lecture. Are there any questions about what happened in 1996? Professor Cheng, would you like to come up and just give a little critique or comments about the lecture today? Just a little bit, a minute. Come on. You can speak in Chinese. Come on.
You can do that.
Oh, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah, just give some. In America, when we give lectures, people are asked to critique or review the lecture. Do you understand? I don't know if it's a Chinese custom. Also. So now what we like is a review of the lecture. Thank you.
To review the following because
What did you, rude? Did you say rude? You're afraid you're rude to me?
No. You asked me a lot of national knowledge on this internet policy making process in China.
Have you heard this good lecture about the decision making about internet in America?
No, I'm trying to understand. I'm reading the fundamental material. I want to know how the decision in America and the difference between US and China. And then we can know the difference and maybe some similar process that we can follow.
Okay, just can you pull up my website, Foster and Braun? Can you go back to the website and go up an article?